Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Burdett, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening.
Why haven't you been there for a whole week?
Let me tell you, if ever there's any community in the city of Johannesburg that I've engaged with ever since I took over this administration are the residents of the city of Johannesburg.
Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba explains from Vlakfontein why he's not in Alexandra. But residents who marched to Sandton today say it's too late now and he shouldn't bother. Former CEO of IO Technologies Kevin Hardy alleges Iqbal's survey tried to bribe him to stay silent about dodgy business practices. And the Queen of Babes Wodumo in the dock on assault charges. Do not enter. That's the order from protesting Alexandra residents to the Mayor of Johannesburg. After days waiting for Herman Mashaba to address their service delivery concerns, protesters say he's kept them waiting too long and shouldn't bother. Soweto Museum has the story.
From their deplorable living conditions in Alexandra to the posh, spotless streets of Sandton, residents take their plight for better lives to the rich. But where in the world is Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba, someone they've been demanding address them? Well, he was in Vlakfontein, just an hour's drive from Alexandra, dealing with another community's unhappiness. Mashaba couldn't escape our questions about Alex.
Alexandra residents are calling upon you to come to them and hear their cries. Why haven't you been there for a whole week?
Let me tell you, if ever there's any community in the city of Johannesburg that I've engaged with ever since I took over this administration are the residents of the city of Johannesburg.
He says he's trying to pick up the pieces that provincial and national government have left behind.
So I need the province and national government to be with me to explain to people of Alexandra what happened to their money. I want this agreement that they signed with people of Alexandra, which they promised them in June 2016. We at the city of Johannesburg, we are ready to execute.
But fed up with Mashaba ignoring them, residents have now changed their tune, saying the mayor isn't welcome anymore.
Why is it that he wants to meet with us when it's convenient for him? When we call him, we are the people of the city of Johannesburg, where he is the chief. He must come here. He's the mayor here. He must come here. Take the memorandum, not when it suits him. We are not going to dance to his tune. We want service delivery. It's as simple as that.
Soweto Museum, Johannesburg.
To the city of Cape Town, and in recent weeks, a total of 5 people have been shot dead in taxi violence in Hout Bay. 4 of them were killed last week, right in front of the Hout Bay police station. 1 arrest has since been made. Well, today the police minister was in the area, meeting with taxi bosses and the community. Atim Tungana reports.
The police minister is worried about the violence.
It has moved from being a transport issue to be a crime issue, because 4 people were killed last week. So as the South African police, we can't just hold back on that.
The men were shot and killed right opposite the police station in the area. And some residents have suggested officers were slow to respond due to alleged ties to the taxi industry.
Our police must protect whether those ranks are legally or illegally.
Taxi organizations affiliated with Kata and Kodeta have been at loggerheads over a route to town taken over by Cape Town's My City bus service. They blame the city for the violence.
This is a regulatory failure, and we continuously engaged the city of Cape Town that this thing, if you are not going to address it, you are going to subject this community to this kind of vulnerability.
Government has to take the bigger portion of the blame in the conflict that is taking place here, because this is something that could have been prevented, because we've seen it long time coming, but they haven't been taking any action, and they have been ignoring calls to relook the models that they use when they bring in BRT systems.
The associations say they're meeting with the transport minister soon. They're assuring commuters there'll be no bloodshed following all these engagements. Atim Tungana, Cape Town.
To Limpopo now, where residents in the Vuwani area are divided on whether to boycott the upcoming elections. Now, you may remember the community boycotted the 2016 local elections. A number of schools had been burnt down in protest that same year, only some of which have since been rebuilt. And at the heart of the discontent, then and now, municipal demarcation. Ahead of next month's poll, the IEC has been unable to sign agreements with 18 schools in the area to use as voting stations. Here's the pro-Makata task team, which represents some of the community members.
Unfortunately, it is very much untrue for the IEC to say they have not been engaging with us. We have been in engagement with the IEC from the onset, from day one. When we went to the first local government election in 2016. But even though they have said so, we have the issue. Those community schools that we are referring to, those are our community schools. Those schools were built by our parents. Out of all those 18 schools that we are referring to, it's only 2 schools that were built by this government. All those schools that were built by our parents. If the community feels that their school cannot be used for something that they are in disagreement with, then that is their choice. Okay. We must force them to do something contrary to their will.
Allegations of bribery and breaking governance rules. That's what the PIC inquiry heard today from 2 former executives of controversial IO Technology Solutions. The duo explained how media mogul Iqbal Survey was the ultimate decision maker despite only being a shareholder. Now, last week, Survey told the inquiry he never interfered. The Public Investment Corporation invested in the IT company in 2014 at a price allegedly much higher than IO was worth at the time. Heidi Jokos has the story.
The PIC inquiries heard how AO Technology executives Spiwe Nodwele and Kevin Hardy were instructed to move over 400 million rand into the accounts for 3 Laws Capital owned by Iqbal Survey.
We were completely flabbergasted by this resolution, especially after the 400 million rand had already gone to 3 Laws Capital under the same guise of de-risking the cash sitting in one account.
Nodwele is also told the inquiry independent board members appointed for AO seem to be Survey's close friends.
Then there's Dennis George, who was appointed as an independent, and as you would see, he was the BE recipient of the R1.50 shares through Fiducia and is currently under investigation by Fiducia because Fiducia has no clue that that transaction was done in their name. So he's, again, the PIC is appointing this person as an independent non-executive director. Then you've got Mr. Silo Rasitaba, who is part of the BBC and sat with Mr. Iqbal Survey on the BRICS Business Council. And also the BBC are beneficiaries of this BEE shareholding at R1.50.
I want to apologise to my beautiful wife, Layla, who's sitting behind me.
The former AO CEO, Kevin Hardy, became emotional when he testified about an alleged bribe Survey offered him.
All our expenses would be covered, including school fees, a chauffeur at our beck and call, etc. I respectfully declined the offer, which was an outright bribe, and said that I would not be able to convince my wife to move to Cape Town and that she wanted me to have nothing to do with him.
The Johannesburg Stock Exchange has also been summoned to appear before the inquiry. The Commission wants to question the JSE about its last-minute decision not to list Sagamata, a company owned by Survey. Heidi Jokos in Pretoria.
Other stories making local headlines. Musician Babes Wodumo and her sister have appeared in the Durban Magistrate's Court. That's after they failed to show up on Friday. They've been fined and released on bail. Artist Tobeka Tipsin Daba was given a warning as she had produced a doctor's note about last week's non-appearance. The 3 are accused of assaulting a woman in Durban last month. This allegedly happened just after Babes Wodumo laid an assault charge against her longtime boyfriend Mandla Mampintsha Mapomolo. Former IPID boss Robert McBride's testimony before the state capture inquiry has been postponed again. The Commission's legal team has failed to provide notices to between 30 and 50 people that McBride implicates in his statement. Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo voiced his disapproval today, saying this was unacceptable. This is the same reason McBride's testimony was postponed when he first appeared before the Commission in February. The former police watchdog is now due to appear on Thursday. Still ahead on eNews, clashes between Libya's UN-backed government and the Libyan National Army have left at least 21 people dead and more fleeing the country.
And in your business news, the rand was weaker today against major global currencies, and this was in line with global markets with a subdued, which this is ahead of risk events this week.
Let's get business news now with Rufiwe. Good evening, Rufiwe. Let's start with mining now. Sibanye-Stillwater, there's been a protracted strike there. At the same time, they're trying to merge with Lonmin. AMCU's not happy. Tell us why.
No, they're not happy about it at all. And the thing here is that the Competition Tribunal has approved the merger of the two companies. AMCU says it cannot go ahead because over 13,000 jobs are going to be lost. Although the studies that have been done by both companies suggest just over 3,000 jobs will be lost as a result of the merger, which is fine according to the tribunal, as long as there are measures put in place in terms of developing the surrounding communities and in creating employment opportunities for the people that may lose their jobs at Lonmin. So this is an important sale for Lonmin in particular because it has been a company that's struggling because of that volatile platinum price. They need that 5.71 billion rand transaction to go through so that shafts don't close down and so that they continue to operate at least at a bit of a surplus. AMCU is not having it, and they're saying that the company does have money, even though we haven't seen any of the studies that have been done by AMCU. Here is just a union that is going by the rhetoric of the people and really just not looking at the facts. And if it doesn't go ahead, the CEO of Lonmin says over 13,000 jobs will be lost if this 5.7 billion is not given to Lonmin by Sibanye should the transaction not go through.
So job losses either way?
Either way. But it's going to be less if the transaction happens, and the opportunity for growth is there because this diversifies the platinum sector in South Africa and really just opens up the opportunities, given that the platinum price has improved over recent weeks. We've seen it hit the $900 an ounce mark. So it's really doing well. So I think there needs to be, suppose, more discussions between the company and the union in terms of a way forward and really just looking at the lesser evil in this situation, Sally.
Well, let's take a look at the markets with all that.
Let's take a look at them indeed. So we did see that the JSE closed higher today, and this has rising oil prices and the weaker rand giving support to your miners, although this did put some pressure on your general retailers. In your commodities, we saw that global risk events have given support to commodity prices. Gold was higher, platinum was comfortably around $900 an ounce, and Brent crude at an impressive $71 a barrel. If we take a look at the local unit now, the rand was slightly weaker against major global currencies today, but it has not lost those favorable gains we saw from the Moody's outlook last week, Sally.
Thank you very much. Rufiwe, we'll chat again to you tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at international news. And clashes between Libya's UN-backed government and the Libyan National Army are intensifying. 21 people have been killed. 2,800 civilians have fled the fighting near the capital, Tripoli. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Federica Mogherini, is calling for a truce between the rival factions. Forces under General Khalifa Haftar want to take over the capital. The government is accusing the rebels of attempting a coup and is vowing to meet them with force. American Airlines has extended its cancellation of 737 MAX flights until the 5th of June. Now, this follows the grounding of this aircraft after the 2 deadly crashes in 5 months. On the 24th of March, the airline said it would cut 90 flights a day until April the 24th. The move by the biggest US airline is the latest sign showing that the Boeing model is not expected to resume service anytime soon. Still ahead, we'll go to our weather centre and chat to Joel Guy for all the latest on the autumn weather that's definitely coming in here in Johannesburg. And then a place to reflect and connect with your almost forgotten past. We take you to the inspirational Soweto Museum. Let's get all your weather news from Joel Guy in Cape Town. Evening to you, Joel. So many storms around.
Yes, indeed, Sally. We had some pretty active thunderstorms sweeping through the northern and eastern Cape this Monday and also over the Free State. And we got this picture sent in from Hillcrest in Kimberley. One storm dumped quite a lot of hail in some suburbs around Kimberley. Now, on the most recent satellite picture, we still see some of those thunderstorms sweeping through the Free State and also into KwaZulu-Natal, and it's going to stay pretty unsettled tonight over these parts of the country. Now, we start off Tuesday with some isolated thundershowers still going on over the Free State, and it will be cloudy with drizzle for parts of the south coast, foggy as well for the west coast and the adjacent interior. And as we head towards the afternoon hours, the storms over the Free State will spread into much of eastern South Africa, down into KwaZulu-Natal and parts of the eastern Cape. It will be partly cloudy and dry for the southern Cape areas and mostly sunny for much of the northern Cape. It will stay fairly unsettled on Tuesday night for eastern South Africa and foggy once again over much of the west coast. Now we're expecting a dry one for the northern Cape, where it's going to be warm to hot in most areas. Appington and Priska peaking at around 32 degrees. It will be dry as well for much of the Western Cape interior. A bit of rain, however, in the morning for Hermanus and Bredasdorp, both peaking at around 24 degrees. Dry for Cape Town with a high of 27. And it's going to be partly cloudy for the eastern areas of the Western Cape. We are expecting thundershowers for the eastern half of the Eastern Cape. A bit of thundershowers as well for Port Elizabeth, where a high of around 23 degrees is expected. Pretty unsettled for much of KwaZulu-Natal, with top temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 20s for your Tuesday afternoon. Similar weather and afternoon temperatures are forecast for Mpumalanga. Limpopo should also see thundery showers with top temperatures mostly in the lower to mid 30s. We are going to see similar weather for much of the northwest Zeerust, peaking at around 30 degrees. Thundershowers are also forecast for the Free State. It will be dry, however, around Bloemfontein and Forest Smith. Gauteng should see isolated thundershowers compared to what we saw this Monday, with highs lying mostly in the mid to upper 20s. Now, just quickly looking ahead to your Wednesday, thundershowers are forecast for the central and northeastern areas. Rain showers in KwaZulu-Natal. It will be dry for western South Africa. Then on Thursday, thunderstorms are forecast for the bulk of the country. Dry weather sets in KwaZulu-Natal, and it will be mostly sunny and warm to hot for the western and southern parts of the country. That's all from me for now, Sally. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Joel Guy in Cape Town. Finally, if you're looking for a place to soothe your soul, the inspirational Soweto Museum in Rockville may be the place. It's bursting with African history. It allows visitors to reflect and connect with an almost forgotten past. Tsehohaho Moahi paid the museum a visit.
Sometimes the hustle and bustle of life can be overwhelming, and you just need some peace and tranquility. Well, this might just be the place for you. It's a first for South Africa, a showcase of how African people connect with their indigenous writing systems and with animals.
I would love to see more black people come here, to come and learn about culture yabo, to learn about who they were before today. And I would love people to come and have a space, like, let me take my mom for a cup of coffee. You can come with anybody, just to come and talk.
The museum is for both young and old. You can enjoy it on your own or in good company. But could this help change the mindset of the youth in the community?
It's a place where us, the youth, can actually come. We learn at the same time we are chilling. You come here and this history is put into visual ways. We see all this history on the wall, we see pictures and stuff.
And there's even a little something for the jazz lovers. Soweto.
Learning and chilling. I like that. Your top stories once more this evening. Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba explains from Vlakfontein why he's not in Alexandra, but residents who marched to Sandton earlier today say it's too late now and he shouldn't bother. Former CEO of Biotechnologies Kevin Hardy alleges Iqbal's survey tried to bribe him to stay silent about dodgy business practices. From me and the team, it's a very good night to you.